Let everybody join the class. I will wait for every single person of NEET 2021 and 2022 to join this super amazing class. Join fast for the class. Let every single person join the class. Guys, all your comments on the chat box. Welcome to BioPoint Stream, the world of bio. We are starting for the classes for NEET 2021 and 2022 with the very first unit and the very first chapter, that is diversity in living world. So today we will be starting with the chapter the living world. Diversity in living world. So okay, good. I hope all can hear me and see me my screen properly. Can everyone hear me and see my screen properly? Okay. Don't forget to press the like button before you enter the class. Okay. Okay. So have the Josh in the class. We are moving on with the very first unit. Okay. Starting the class, children. So today we will be discussing about two different topics. That is, first one, we will be discussing about what is life. Okay. We will be starting about what is life. And the second topic is what are the characteristics of life. I hope everyone is having the NCERT textbook in your hand. Have every one of you taken your NCERT textbooks? Fast on the chat box. Does everybody have your NCERT textbook in your hand? Yes, tell me fast on the chat box, children. Okay. So take down your NCERT in your hand, then only you will be able to mark each and every point that I am telling in the class. If you have any problems with the audio or video or anything, just comment me in the chat section. So we are starting the session, the living world, with the very first unit and the very first topic, what is life? Okay, what is life? Life is a unique, complex organization of molecules expressing through chemical reaction, which leads to growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation, and reproduction. Okay, those who haven't, take down the points, important points that I'm telling. Okay, all of you give me a thumbs up on the screen. Thumbs up on the chat box. Fast. To indicate that you're enjoying the class. Yes, give me a thumbs up on the chat box. Is anybody in the class? The chat box is remaining silent. Okay. Nila also attend the class. Okay. Life is a unique, complex organization of molecule expressing through their chemical reactions, which leads to the growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation, and reproduction. So life, you can tell it as a unique. It is a unique, okay? The process of living, it is unique, complex organization of molecule. There are certain chemical reaction taking place in our body. Name some of the chemical reaction taking place inside the human body. Tell me some of the chemical reaction taking place inside the human body. Fast. Yes, on the chat box you can tell the answer. Is there anyone in the class? Is there anybody in the class?
Anyone in the class?
Yeah, nervous system. I'm asking about some chemical reaction taking place in the body. I'm not asking you about the systems of the body. Some of the chemical reactions happening in the body. For example, I'll take digestion. Digestion is a process. Breaking down, release of energy happens, right? Exactly like digestion, there are some more processes taking place inside the human body. Tell me some of the other processes happening in the human body. One is digestion. Another one. Guys, don't please keeping quiet. Instead, you comment me in the chat box. Otherwise, I'm gonna stop the class. Okay. Digestion, then another process, another metabolic process is respiration. Yeah, good. Respiration, then you have circulation, excretion. All these are different processes. All these are different chemical processes taking place in the body. So all these processes leads to the production or energy, either the production of energy or the loss of energy also, either the utilization of energy or the release of energy. Both can happen in this process. So the total sum of chemical processes, the total sum of chemical reactions taking place in the human body, you will be calling them as the metabolism. The total sum of the chemical reaction taking place in the human body, you can call it as the what? Metabolism. Clear, everybody? Everybody clear? The sum of chemical reaction taking place in the human body referred to as the metabolism. If nobody is active in the class, I'm going to end it right now. Since many of you requested, I started the session and I cannot see anybody active in the class. If you want me to continue the class, be active in the chat box because that is the only way I could communicate with you. Okay. Okay. Next is, what is a living organism? What is a living organism? We all are living organism. Suppose if a person tells that growth is the characteristic of living organism. If someone is telling that growth is the characteristic of living organism, then suppose an amoeba. Amoeba is a living organism, right? Amoeba is a living organism. Amoeba also grows, expands its body and grow. Am I right? Exactly like this. Growth is also exhibited by non-living things also. Growth is exhibited by non-living things also. Now you'll be wondering how non-living things exhibit growth. Suppose it's a mountain. Suppose it's a mountain. Okay, this is a mountain. Due to the deposition of soil particles and like that, the mountain extends in height. Due to again the deposition of some more particle, the mountain gains some more height. So finally it reaches a total height. It will increases on height. So this can also be referred to as growth of the mountain. So we cannot say that. Okay, no problem. Listen. So we cannot say that growth is a defining property. Growth, we cannot say that growth is a defining property of living organism. Okay, we cannot say that growth is a defining property of living organism because non-living organisms also shows growth. So now we are going to discuss about what do you mean by living organism. Living organism is a self-replicating, evolving, self-regulating interactive system capable of responding to external stimulus. Okay, living organisms have the property. Yes, growth in non-living things is called extrinsic. I'll be telling it when we discuss about the character. So this is a previous year NEET question. This is a previous year NEET question. Okay. Which of the following does correctly defines the characteristic of a living organism? This is a previous year NEET question. And those who are preparing for CBSE board also. A 1 mark question. A 1 mark question for CBSE board question also. What do you mean by a living organism? Okay. A living organism, you have to study the points. They are self-replicating. Living organisms, they are self-replicating, evolving, self-regulating interactive system which are capable of responding to external stimulus. All these are the important points of or the characteristic of being a living organism. Hope you all are getting it, my new students especially. If you're getting all the points, gives me a thumbs up on the chat box. Either a thumbs up or a love, a heart on the screen. Especially 2021, 2022 students. Because 2020 students are also prepared with all these things. Okay. Understood the two slides that we have discussed. This is a very simple chapter. Only either 1 mark question. If 1 mark question comes from this chapter, it might be a luck by chance only. Because this is not a major chapter included in the first unit. Just a brief introduction about biology when you're entering into the class 11. Yes. Moving on with the next. Next, we are going to discuss about the major properties of being a living organism. There are different properties that we consider in order to consider a particular organism as living or not. For example, growth is one character. Growth, reproduction, metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness, all these. So we have to study about, there are 14 or 15 properties of living organism, but according to our NCRT we have only these 5 different properties. Are you all in the class? Are you everybody in the class? Tell me yes or no on the chat box whether everyone is listening in the class or not. Yes, tell me. Yes. So we are moving on with a short discussion time. Okay. So first one is the growth. I'll be giving a brief account over here itself. First one is growth. Tell me, Attributes also properties. Attributes of living organism also is similar to that of property. The simple meaning for everything is the what are the major characteristic for us to consider a living organism. What is the major characteristic for us to consider organism to be living or not? Not an organism, a thing should be considered living or not on the basis of what? That is the attributes or properties or characters or whatever. Tell me on the chat box whether growth can be considered as a defining property of living organisms or not. Everyone. Whether growth can be seen only in living organism or it can be seen in non-living organisms also. Yes. Yeah. So one is telling that growth is never a defining property of living organism. What about others? What about others? No. What friends? What friends can't be defining property? I'm asking about growth. Yes. Yes. Good, Shivani Ramesh. No. Mountains also grow by accumulation on the surface. Good. Okay, so we cannot say that growth is the only growth cannot be considered as a defining property of living organism. For example, if we consider the case of a mountain, the mountain growth is considerably increasing on the basis of the height. Okay, as the height is increasing, we can say that the mountain is also growing. So growth cannot be considered as a living property, only the property that is common to living organism. We cannot say that. So let's move to the second, reproduction. Tell me on the chat box whether reproduction can be considered as a property of living organisms or not. Reproduction can be considered as a property of living organisms or not. Tell me. 2020 students who are in the class also can respond. Yes, someone is telling yes. What about the opinion for others? Yes, two answers with the yes. Yes, absolutely. Reproduction can also never be considered as a defining property of living organism, because if you take horse and zebra, or suppose I'm taking lion and tiger, lion plus tiger, hybrid product, lion plus tiger. So there are certain organism named mule. Yes, sterile honeybee, absolute technical Tamilian. Sterile honeybee are there. Then there are, moreover, we can tell sterile humans are there. Sterile human beings are there. Yes, liger, tiger, all these are not capable of reproduction. Yes, worker honeybee also never reproduce. Worker honeybee also never reproduce. So reproduction can never be considered as a property of living organism, because there are certain living organisms that do not reproduce. Okay, there are certain living organisms that cannot reproduce. Take down all these examples are very important. I will write once again. Take down, mule is a sterile organism. Mule, liger, tiger, sterile honeybee. Sterile honeybee. That is worker. Sterile honeybee. Male honeybee. Okay, certain human beings. Sterile humans. This is previous year AFMC question. Not after 2010. Before 2010, you could expect all these simple questions for AFMC. Aims also. Exactly. Drawn, Spile, K. So we cannot consider growth as a living property. We cannot consider reproduction as a living property. Tell me about metabolism, third process. can we consider metabolism as a living process or not? Tell me. Yes, to somewhat extent we can tell that metabolism is a living reaction. But there are certain exceptions. For example, in the laboratory, in the test tube, we are conducting certain experiments. In the test tube, we are conducting experiments. Their production of energy, metabolic reactions are happening inside the test tube also. Inside the test tube also, metabolic reactions are happening, right? But the thing is that even though metabolism is considered as a defining property of all living organisms without any exception, we are considering metabolic reactions as defining property. But there are certain isolated metabolic reactions. This line is there in the NCERT. I don't remember the page number. Most probably, I think it may be in page number 5 or 6. I don't remember the page number. I don't have the NCERT in my hand now. If somebody is having the NCERT, please mention the line. 5 or 6th page, 5th or 6th page, you have this particular line itself. Isolated metabolic reaction in vitro are not living things, but they are living. Yes, page number 5. They are living reaction. Even though we are conducting certain experiments in the test tube, that is in vitro. Even though we are considering certain reactions in vitro, the living reactions happen. The reaction taking place in the test tube are living reaction. Therefore, metabolism can be considered as a defining property. But you look, there are certain exceptions. So we cannot completely tell that it can be the defining property. Tell me, next one, the fourth property, cellular organization. Whether cellular organization is a defining property of living organisms or not. We will be discussing in detail about all these things. Tell me whether cellular organization is the defining property or not. Yes, we can tell cellular organization is also defining property of living organism. And the last one is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness means response to external stimulus. Response to external stimulus is response or consciousness. Stimulus means any changes happening in the environment that induces a reaction or response inside the body. Okay, clear everyone? Everyone clear with this particular concept up to the properties of living organism? Clear? On the chat box, give me a thumbs up on the chat box if you are clear with it. Is Nila left the class or she is here? Nila? Yeah, humans are self-conscious organism. Tell me whether Nila is here or not. Yes. So let's discuss in detail each property. Each property now we are going to discuss in detail. So first property is the growth. Okay. Those who need it can take the screenshot and share it in the group. Okay. Since sometimes I'll not be able to provide the PDF, I'll try to provide the PDF of these slides in the group. If I'm not able to provide, please take the screenshot and share it in the group also. So properties of living organism, we have the first one as growth. Growth can be defined. What do you mean by growth? Growth can be defined as increase in number and mass of cells by cell division. The main keyword is increase in number. Increase in number and increase in the mass, referred to as growth. Suppose, for example, this is happening in case of human beings also. You can see during the time of reproduction, you can have all these type of cell division. Exactly. 2 fertilized egg, you can see. if resulting in the formation of a twin. So what do you mean by growth? Growth is the increase in number or the mass of cells. This is can be asked as an MCQ. Never asked till now, but it can be asked. There are chances. After all the questions in the books are over, they will start asking the unimportant things also for the exam. Clear? So growth can be defined as an increase in the number and mass of the cells by cell division. That is all about growth. So growth cannot be considered as a living property. Growth cannot be considered as a living property. In plants, the main point over here, in plants, you can see that growth continues throughout their lifespan. Okay, the growth continues throughout their lifespan. Till the death of the plant, the plant continuously grows. What is lifespan? Lifespan is the period from birth till natural death. The word natural is very important. Birth till natural death. Yes, that single term you can use absolutely. Indefinite lifespan. Technical term, Lian. Good. Keep it up, okay? Whereas in case of animals, you can see that growth is limited up to a certain age only. For example, in case of girls, after the age of 18, their height is not going to increase. Their height or their growth stops at the age of 18. That is in case of height. Okay, in case of height. But in boys, 24, 25 years after that, what height you reach at that particular age will not going to get increased after that. That is the term over there. So in plants, it is indefinite growth. In animals, you can see the growth is a certain age or definite growth. Oh my God. Nila with the eyes bulging out. Oh ho. Don't worry, okay? However, cell division occurs. Okay? However, cell division occurs to replace the lost cell. Yes, animals grow up to a certain age only. Good, Shivani, good. So, we cannot say that living organisms only grow. Look at the condition now. Growth can be defined. We defined growth as the increase in mass and size. We defined growth as the increase in mass and size. But you can see that certain non-living objects, there is surface accumulation of material. Surface accumulation of material. But the main thing is that for non-living things, growth is from outside, whereas in living organism, growth is from inside. So growth can never be considered as a defining property of living organism. Clear? Yes, growth can be the accumulation of material. In case of living organism, it is from inside the body, and in case of non-living organism, it is from outside the body. Clear? Clear, everyone? Okay. 2021, 2022 students? 2021, 2022 students, is it clear? Okay. What about others? Technical, Tamli and Surabhi. Yes, Nila, Shivani, Surabhi. What about others? Yes, protoplasm. Yes, Devi Dutt Khatri. Okay, good. Yes, Guru. Perfect, perfect. Prateep, Shivani, Guru, Technical, Tamlian, Devi. Yes, perfect. Yes, protoplasm accumulation. Protoplasm is actually the physical basis of life. Actually, protoplasm is defined as a physical basis of life. You have all these things to study in the chapter cell. How many of you have studied all these chapters? That is now, how many of you in the class are in the 12th standard now? Completed 11th and now in 12th. Those who are going to attempt NEET in 2021. There are 2 or 3 persons who are going to attempt NEET in 2020. How many of you in 2021 or all are 2022? Okay. So I think you might have studied all these things, right? This is the most simple chapter in your class 11th biology. The most simple that I could say, right? Yeah, okay. 2021 students, for you also I'll be taking the class. Okay, after we finish 11th weekend. So those who are writing the exam in 2021, this would be a crash course, like a crash course for you. Okay, you will be getting all the important or extra points from this. Okay, good. Next one, property number 2, that is living organisms property. Second one is reproduction. Reproduction is the second property. Yes, it is a production of progeny having features similar to that. Yeah, good. If you're getting an important point, please take it down by your NCRT itself, because NCRT is the best book for you to refer. Okay, so reproduction can be defined as the production of progeny having features similar to those of parents. We inherit certain character from the parents. We inherit certain characters from the parents. Okay, exactly. Suppose if we are inheriting hair the character of the hair from our parents. Suppose we get curly hair, we will be having a curly hair, and it might be the characteristic of your mother. And please make sure that you are not getting the character only from your parents. Suppose this is your father, this is your mother. The father is tall, your father is tall, your mother is also tall. But you, that is a offspring, that is a progeny, the child is dwarf. Not dwarf, not too much height, shorter. Because the inheritance of character, inheritance means the acquiring of character. You might have studied in the 10th standard, heredity and evolution. Because the character may be inherited from 14 back generation, from your four grandfather, four grandfather, great grandfathers, like that. Yes, heredity is the process happening over here. Organism, there are two types of reproduction. All these chapters also you studied in your 10th standard. So organism reproduce asexually and sexually also. So there are two types of reproduction. You can see there are asexual reproduction as well as sexual reproduction. Then you can, this is an important point. This is a previous year aims question, assertion, reason question. Okay, this is a previous year assertion, reason question for aims. I think it is a 2004 or 2005 question. I don't remember the year correctly. Okay. So in unicellular organism, growth and reproduction are same because they reproduce also by cell division. Growth is by cell division. Reproduction is also by cell division. Okay. Everyone here on the class? Yes. Good. Okay. So growth and reproduction are synonymous. In case synonymous means they are adjacent to that of, there are other students. Yes, good. Okay, they are not anonymous, is synonymous in case of unicellular organism. Suppose in case of unicellular organism, the parent is not having death. The parent is never dying. The parent cell is never undergoing death. Because suppose this is the parent, suppose in unicellular amoeba, and this cell splits up to form two cells. And these both are the cells, and the everything of the parents are this, right? This particular parent itself just replicated into two. What do you mean by replication? Replication, new term for 11th standard student. Replication. Replication means what? Replication means division. 12th standard students, there is a chapter for replication of DNA coming up. Molecular basis of inheritance, the most important and the most difficult chapter you are going to get. The most difficult questions are going to be from that chapter, molecular basis of inheritance. Okay, those who are in the 12th now, if your school teachers taught it now, you have to go through that chapters now itself because they are very important. Okay, so amoeba and all the parent cells in case of unicellular organisms, they are immortal. Yes, this we have discussed. Look, this is a mule. We discussed, right? This is the mule, and we discussed about the worker honeybee also. Can all see the diagram on the screen? Can can everybody see the picture on the screen of a mule and a worker honeybee? Okay. So there are many organisms. If we are considering reproduction as a major character, there are many organisms that cannot reproduce. For example, mule, worker honeybee, infertile human couple. Infertile means not capable of producing offsprings or progeny. Therefore, reproduction can never be considered as a defining property of living organism. Guys, 1 minute. I'll be back. Okay. Okay, let's continue with the class. Can you all hear me? Am I audible to everyone? Okay. So reproduction can also never be considered as a defining property of living organism. Third one is the metabolism. Third process or third character is the metabolism. What is metabolism? This definition is very important, okay, for your board exams. Sum total of all the biochemical reaction taking place inside a living system. All the biochemical reaction taking place inside a living system can refer to as the metabolism. Metabolism can be defined as the sum total of all the biochemical reaction taking place inside the body. You have more to study about this metabolic processes in the chapter respiration in plants. Guys, how many of you have your reference guide, an objective reference guide for biology? Objective reference guide for biology from now onwards. In your hand, not now, in your home, how many of you have it? A very good reference guide for biology. Tell me on the chat box. Nobody. So I will be providing you with the PDF of certain MCQs. That is a topic ways. That is, today we will be discussing about life and the characters of living things. So I will be providing the PDF of a book that contains. Yeah, MTG book is very good. MTG at your fingertips. MTG Objective Biology is absolutely good. Very good book. So I'll be sharing the PDF of a book that contains the MCQs, topic wise MCQ. So I'll be sending the PDF of the MCQs that contains the MCQs from the portion that we taught in the class today. And before beginning the tomorrow's class, you will be having a Menti quiz. Before beginning tomorrow's class, you will be having 5 Menti quiz. All are familiar with the Menti quiz? A quiz, a live online quiz before we begin tomorrow's class. Okay, perfect. So, continuing with the class, metabolism can be considered as the defining feature of all living organism. Okay, metabolism can be considered as the living feature of all living organism. Metabolic reaction can be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free system. Metabolic reactions can be conducted outside the body also in a cell-free system. Isolated metabolic. This statement is very important. Okay, this statement is very, very important. Please mark it off. Isolated metabolic reactions in vitro are not considered living things, but they are living reaction. But they are living reaction. Perfect. Everyone. Isolated. Oh. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Isolated metabolic reactions in vitro are not considered living things, but they are living reaction. That's why metabolism is considered as a defining property of all living organisms. So there will be a lots and lots of questions. So what we discussed in the class, you have to work out all the MCQs. All the MCQs from that chapter you have to work out. Okay? All the MCQs from the chapter you have to work out before you enter the class. Because if we don't go by now, although we are late, we started it now only, so I'll be going a bit faster. Okay, we have to go a bit faster, so I'll be including a large number of portions in a one class, which will be accumulative, which you can accommodate in a day. Okay, so work hard right from now. Yes. The next property is cellular organization. The next property is cellular organization. Organisms are made up of one or more cells. Organisms are made up of one or more cells. So it can also be considered as a defining feature of living organisms. Cellular organization can also be considered as, but children, listen, when it comes to your NEET exam, when it comes to your NEET or AIMS exam or your AFMC, AIPMT, for all these exams, you can see the options will be which one of the following is not a defining which one of the question will be, sorry, the question will be which one of the following characters are the defining property of a living organism. Option 1, growth. Option 2, reproduction. Option 3, metabolism. Option 4, consciousness. Fast, tell me on the chat box which is the answer. Most defining property, which of the following is the most defining property of a living organism? Option 1, growth. B, reproduction. C, metabolism. D, consciousness. Is it metabolism? Pratipa Nadrajan. Is it metabolism? Surabhi, is it metabolism? Is it metabolism? Yeah, due to the pressure from the family, now doing fourth year MBBS course also. Fourth year MBBS course also now from Kerala. Kerala. Fourth year medical student. Myself, I'm talking about myself. Okay, we have one more person, Amal sir. Also, he's also in the group. Okay, Amal sir is also in the group. He will also be taking the classes. We both are cousins and friends. Okay, both studying, both having the same keen of interest, going through the same path. That's it. Guys, the answer is consciousness, okay? Consciousness is the most defining property. Consciousness is the most defining property, okay? Please don't get confused when such type of a question comes through your exam. Consciousness is the most important defining property without any exception. For example, if you are taking the answer as metabolism, they will be asking you about the reaction happening. Yes, bio points is only for bio. Everybody is asking to yeah, everybody is asking why not starting classes for physics and chemistry. Actually, I also don't know why I'm not starting the classes, because I will know the reason is that I will not be able to convey the things to you as how I does for biology. Okay, yeah, I'll be tell metabolism. One has asked me why metabolism cannot be considered as a living property. Metabolism itself is a living property, but there are exceptions, as we told, right? Look, there are exceptions. We discussed in the last slide, right? There are certain reactions that takes place outside the human body also. Since that reactions are a living reaction, we are considering them to be the defining property, right? They are actually not the living reaction. They are not actually taking place inside the living things. Yes, metabolism takes place in vitro culture also. They takes place outside the body also. Technical Tamlian, clear? Technical Tamlian has asked me the doubt. Is it clear now? What about Devi Dutt, Pratipa, Guru, Nila, Sarvat, Technical Tamlian? Okay, what about others? Shivani, Ramesh, Devi Dutt? Yes, Surabhi, I forgot your name. Good. Okay. Hope everybody understood the session. Next is the last and the defining property. Shivani has gone. Okay. Next, the last and the fifth one is the consciousness. Consciousness is the ability to sense environment, ability of organism to sense their environment and response to the environmental stimuli. Consciousness can be defined as the ability of organism to sense their environment and response to the external stimuli. So, for example, light, water, temperature, other organism, chemicals, and pollutant. Hope you know what is meant by stimulus. What is consciousness? Am I right? Am I right? Everybody knows the answer for the stimuli and everything. There are certain plants responding to light. There are thigmotropic plants, insectivorous plants. Am I right? Does anybody wants me to explain? Even if one person wants me to explain, I will explain it. Only this point is there. Therefore, consciousness can be considered as the defining property. All organisms are aware of the surrounding. All organisms are aware of the surroundings. So, consciousness can be defined as the most defining property of living organism, because for consciousness there is no exception. There is no exception. Yes, there is no exception in case of consciousness. That's why we consider consciousness as the very most important defining factor apart from metabolism and cellular organization. I hope this would be, if there is any NEET 2020 students, this would be a question for NEET 2020 also. Either NEET 2020, 2021 or 2022. 2021, 22. All students are over here. Next three doctors, three generation doctors over here in the class. Yeah, I'll tell self-consciousness you need. Okay. Guys, what do you mean by self-consciousness? What do you mean by self-consciousness? Stimuli means what, you know? Stimuli means the external what? External things happening in the environment. You call it as the stimulus. Look, the external things such as light, water, temperature, etc. That you can call it as to be the stimulus. Due to this external stimulus, you can see that our body just responds. Suppose if you are just taking your hands close to the fire, you will be suddenly pulling out your hand back, right? The doubt was asked by Surabhi. Surabhi, am I right? If we are just putting our hand into the fire and we'll be immediately pulling it back, right? Not only humans, Sarvat. Only organism who is aware of himself, that is humans. It is not only humans. there are plants, there are animals. Okay, there are humans, there are animals, there are plants. Okay, so that is referred to as a self consciousness, because we ourselves know that if we just put our hands in the fire, our hand will get burned. Am I right? So that is why you will ourselves, that is we, in our mind itself, we have a conscious feeling that, or an internal feeling that we should not put our hands in the fire. Yeah, okay, I'll reduce the volume. Okay, okay, okay. Surabhi, is it clear now? Surabhi asked me the doubt. Oh. Mostly it is for human beings. Okay, not completely it is for human beings. Mostly it happens in case of human beings only. Clear, Sarvat? Guys, the thing is that when you are coming to other chapters, there is a plant kingdom, animal kingdom, all such chapters, you could see that there are blunters in the NCRT. There are blunters written in our NCRT textbook. But the thing is that even though it is blunder, we are supposed to learn that blunter and go for and write for the NEET exam. Okay, that is a problem with the board now. That is the problem. But such question, mostly from the plant kingdom, there are a number of ultra blunters in that chapter, because there are certain organisms which are to be included in kingdom Protista, have been also now also they are included under plant day kingdom in case of our NCRT textbook. When such a type of question is being asked for our NEET exam or any other exam, we are supposed to write that blunter in our answer sheet. Then only we will get the marks. That is the education system happening now. Okay, clear with consciousness. Can we move it? Yes, here also it is there. Human is the only organism having self consciousness. Human is the only organism having self consciousness. This is there in your NCRT, according to Sarvat also told me. Okay, human is the only organism having self consciousness. This is there in the NCRT, so we have to study this according to this. But actually, humans are not only the organisms that have the self-conscious. Guys, have you seen a dog just putting his leg? Once it will put the leg into the fire, and if it came to know that it will burn his or her limbs, then will the dog again just puts the fire to know what's happening inside it? Never. Am I right? Never the dog will do that. Okay. So according to NCRT, this sentence is given. So we are supposed to learn it. Okay. These questions will not be asked for the exam. Okay. Can we continue the class? Should we continue the class, or else we have to stop the class? Which one you needed? We should continue. This is the next topic. This is the next topic. That is diversity in living world is the next topic. Should we stop the class, or we have to continue with some more portion till 5:15 or 5:20? We have to continue the class. Which one? What about others? Shivani, Surabhi, Sarvat. Okay, what about other person? Okay, so 10 more minutes I am taking. After that we will stop. So next new topic is the diversity in the living world. From here onwards, there are certain questions that comes for our NEET exam. Okay. Okay. 10 more minutes I'll be taking. So from this slide onwards, we have to expect certain questions for NEET also. Good questions will be coming. Diversity in the living organism, diversity in the living world. What do you mean by diversity? There are a wide variety of diversity in our environment, right? Wide variety of diversity in the environment. in the 10th standard, you might have learned the chapter or environment. There you have studied about the ecosystem. Class 12, those who are in the class 12 now will be studying this chapter at the last unit is there, ecology and biodiversity. You will be okay, Elsa. Okay, so diversity means vast variety of organism will be there. There will be numerous animals, plants, wide variety of animals, plants, not only animals and plants, birds, algae, fungi, bacteria. A wide variety of plants and animals and organisms will be there in a particular area. You call it as the biodiversity. Okay, the number and types of organisms present on the earth is referred to as biodiversity. Clear with the definition? This is a previous year NEET MCQ. Which of the following correctly describes biodiversity? Which of the following correctly describes? Which of the following correctly describes biodiversity? This was the question for the NEET. So please take note of this. The definition for biodiversity. This is a very, very important question. Very, very important. This is 100% sure MCQ. 100% sure MCQ. Most probably for NEET 2020. This year, this question may come. NEET 2020 students in the class, please take down this. I have repeated in the class when I took the class Mega Marathon. I repeated. Those who were in the Mega Marathon for 2-hour class might know this. Okay, the number of species that is present is 1.7 to 1.8 million. 2021-2022 students also take note of this.
17 is topic changed from organism to living organism, living world, assertion and research.
So Amalsa was telling me that those who are in the 2020 batch, that is in our NEET 2020 NEET Extras group, okay, you will be having a test on the living world. 7 p.m. you are having a Telegram quiz, right? So the topic was molecular basis of inheritance. That was changed with living world, assertion, reason, previous year aims question. For 2021-2022 students, after we complete the chapter, we will do the quiz. Okay. So if you need, I will put the quiz in the group also. You can give a try. Okay. So 1.7 to 1.8 million species are taxonomically described. Yes, they are taxonomically described. Guys, even though it is state board or CBSE board, the textbook is same. The textbook will be the same. Okay, the question pattern only will be the different. But for NEET, everybody is considered the same. Have everyone noted down? Elsa, have you taken down this point? Then someone else was also there, right? Who was that? Pratibha, Devi, taken down. Pratibha, Devi, and all. Elsa have taken down. What about others? Yes. So this is a very important question. Next is taxonomy. What do you mean by taxonomy? Previous year aims NEET question. Previous year aims NEET question. At least 25 times repeated previous year question. At least 25 times repeated question. Okay. Taxonomy can be defined as a study of identification, classification, and nomenclature of organism. Guys, this step order is very important. First, it is identification. Second, it is classification. Third one is nomenclature. Tell me, the father of nomenclature. How many of you knew the father of nomenclature? Father of nomenclature. Father of nomenclature. Anybody? Yes, tell me, 2020 students. Call Linus. Good, Guru. Technical Tamlian. Good. Linus. Call Linus can be considered as the father of nomenclature. Or he itself is considered as the father of taxonomy. Call Linus. Call Linus is considered as the father of taxonomy also. Okay. Good. So this is the order. First it is identification. Then we have classification. Then only nomenclature. Clear? Please take down this definition. This will be a question for your board also. Yes. Binomial nomenclature. Good. There are certain entrance points we have to discuss. Need points. Okay. Yes. Systematics. Systematics, given from the Latin term systema, means systematic arrangement. It deals with the evolutionary relationship between organisms. Systematics deals with the evolutionary relationship between organism. Clear, everybody? Clear, everyone? Give me a thumbs up if you understand the class up to here. Up to here, if you understand the class, give me a thumbs up on the screen. We'll be stopping the class. Only 3 minutes remaining. Yes, absolutely. Phylogeny. Yes. Good. What about the new students? Yes, good. So we'll be continuing the class in the next class. Okay. We have about the diversity in living organism onwards. We'll be studying in the next class. We have all these topics to complete in the upcoming classes. Okay. The chapter is a small chapter. We will be completing it in the next two classes. Good. Perfect. Taxonomical aids are there. All these topics we would be considering. It is not Gaspard Bohin who gave nomenclature, who just proposed the idea of nomenclature. Okay. Technical Tamlin, it is Gaspard Bohin who proposed the idea. It is not Gaspard, okay, it is Caspar. Caspar Bohin. Bohin. He gave the idea of binomial nomenclature, but the person who introduced binomial nomenclature was Carl Linnaeus. So all these we have to study in the upcoming classes. Perfect, everybody. Good. Have the Josh in the class. We are going to end this super amazing class. Good. Please give one like, one share, one subscribe. Everybody. Everybody. Yes. Okay, one like, one share, one subscribe on the class. 2020, 2021 students, how was the class? 2021, 2022. How was the class? Give me an opinion about the class. How was the class? If you have any suggestion, you can tell me now. Any suggestion? Do I need to include more extra points? Anything you can tell. Anything. I'll be taking it as an advice. There should be any kind of improvement in the class, or we should move according to this. Or we have to set up a quiz at the last on the topic learned on that day. How is that idea? We have to set up a quiz before 5 minutes. Yes, I will send surely. About the topics that we have studied today, I'll be sending the quiz. Okay. So, can we end the class? Can we end the class? Yes. Tomorrow, you will be having the class. I'll inform the timing in the group. Okay, I'll inform the timing in the group. Guys, what about the idea of 2 chapters simultaneously? 2022, 2021. Everybody? It might not be a problem for 2021 students. Not 7. In tomorrow's next class, on the beginning, before we begin the class, we will start the quiz. Yeah, like that. One, me will be taking plant kingdom and Amalsa will be taking animal kingdom. Like that. So that we could finish more portion and we'll start with the previous year papers. How is it? My question to 2022 students. I don't know how they will take the idea. 2021 it's perfect. 2020 it's perfect. Yes, Shivani. Okay. So after this chapter, we will be going with two chapters simultaneously. After that, we would finish with the previous year paper. We have to do the previous year paper, AFMC paper, rank booster series. All these are upcoming for you. Okay. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with your friends. Make sure that you all subscribe the wonderful channel. You can comment in the public comment section now itself about the class. Okay, I'm ending the class. Bye bye, everyone. Take care. Bye bye. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for your valuable time spent.